Kyle Busch, our race winner, his second win here at Kentucky Speedway. And his second win of the 2015 season. He's the driver of the number 18 M&M's Crispy Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing. Kyle, congratulations on the win here tonight at Kentucky. Maybe just talk about your perseverance tonight. Certainly, you know, you came through the field up there and showed your strength, and a lot of give and take back and forth through 4 or 5 different cars. But just talk about the win tonight and how you thought the 18 car performed.
Where's my crew chief and car owner?
They were already in here.
Oh, all right, good. I appreciate that. Okay. What do you want to know? I'm just joking.
Just want to know how the 18 car performed and how you thought, you know, the night went for you. Obviously, well.
Yeah, obviously the night went real well for us. But in general, just man, it was really, really good to get out there and to race like that tonight and to run up front and put on a good show. I hope for the fans that were here in Kentucky Speedway and on TV, but. Most importantly, I can't say enough about Adam Stevens, my team, everyone that did such a phenomenal job for me and gave me a great race car to go out there and perform like I did, and to just be able to put it all together throughout 400 miles like that was really good. And to come back from a couple late restarts there where everybody was battling so hard and cars were everywhere and not knowing where to go, what to do, to get myself moving in the right direction, and then to finally get up towards the front. And get that win, that feels really, really good. So, to pass Logano like we did there at the end of the race, it certainly means a lot more to be able to come up through there and to pass a guy late in the going to take the win. And again, I can't thank M&M's Krispies and Monster Energy, Interstate Batteries, Toyota, all of our partners and supporters that have been there for us this year, and that continue to be with us, and we appreciate that.
Questions? We'll go with Mark Garrow, and we'll go to Joey, and then to Jim.
Mark Garrow, PRN. First, congratulations. It was a great race. A lot of the drivers talk about it being a fun race. I think you've talked to how you enjoyed that kind of racing. Do you feel that emotion during the race, or are you concentrating so hard on what you're doing that you just don't allow yourself to feel that, or were you in the car going like, man, this is fun?
No, there was certainly a few times during the night where it was like, oh, this is aggravating, I don't like this. And then there were a couple times where it was like, this is actually really good if you think about it, So, there were some moments there early in the race where I kind of got hung up behind the 78 and I think the 11 and the 22 maybe, and I was like, man, I just can't get a run on them. I just can't get where I need to be to get by these guys. I know I'm faster than them, but then the caution came out, so it really wasn't a long enough run for me to have that opportunity to move around and move up to the top lane and all that stuff. So. I was really impressed, though, how wide this racetrack got. The Kentucky Speedway was really, really cool to see from the bottom all the way 4 lanes up, and might even have been wider if it were a day race, just slipping and sliding a little bit more. But fun race. The track lended itself to options for us drivers, and I think the aero package lended itself to options for us drivers to be able to move around and try different things. When I got to Logano there late in the going, I knew he was going to come up and block my lane and take my air. But when he did, it wasn't as bad as it has been with, I think, the other aero package where you just stall out. And that guy can basically manipulate whatever you're going to do. And I could move down, I could turn down, and I could get underneath him. And we kind of swapped the lead a couple times for a couple laps. And then finally I was able to get by him, and move on away. But overall, hopefully all the drivers enjoyed it. I guess I did the most because I won, but it feels good. Feels good to win.
Let's go to raise your hand. Joey had a question, and then I think it was Jim, and then Jeff.
Joey Chapman, Popular Speed. I talked to Adam about how this package, one of the main ideas was to put the control back in the hands of the drivers and the crew chief. Throughout the night, did it change the way that you communicated with your team, what was going on with your car and what you were doing behind the wheel?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I think that there's certainly opportunities where there's different times you try to say as little as you can so you're not giving away everything to the other crew chiefs that are scanning you. And then there was other times tonight where I was like, man, I'm just not going to be able to explain myself without going on and telling him exactly what I'm doing and what's going on. And I think once I did that, he really got a sense of what I was doing, and he was really able to kind of dial in the race car for more of what I needed. And right then and there, I felt like our race car changed for the better, and that it was going to be a good car for the end of the race. But a couple of those late restarts, I got really tight off the start of the restart when Carl was racing me, and then when Denny was racing me. I was really tight for a few laps, and then I could start to get away. When those guys got loose, I kind of got back to neutral. And then there at the end, when Logano got away from me again, I was actually kind of tight, kind of loose. I was both. And I just knew that in the long run our car was really good, and I just was able to kind of move around and find some grooves that helped me.
And last question for you. Plenty of drivers were talking about after the race that as the runs would go on, you guys are able to adjust the track bar from inside the car. But they said that as that run goes on and the drivers do that, everybody's kind of running the same speed. So they suggested that moving forward that maybe NASCAR try and remove that from the vehicle. Your thoughts?
Either way. I'm good with it either way. You know, I think there are certain times where the track bar adjuster does help competition and it does help passing. And then I think there's other times where it hurts it. And you don't see guys that do fall off, you know, they're not able to adjust their car to what's going on with the circumstances that they're in. So I can see it going either way. I personally like it. I think that I was able to use it to my advantage tonight a few times, and that it really helped me not only to make I think it helped me pass the 22 car at the end of the race. I was able to adjust it, and obviously Logano was probably adjusting his, but it didn't help him, you know. So there's times when you know, you do need that, and that it does help you. So if I didn't have it, would I have won the race? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know, you know. So
Let's go to Jim Utter, then Jeff Gluck.
Jim Utter, Charlotte Observer. Coach was talking about at the end of the race while he was watching you that he did not believe that you were going to accept second place. And when you won at Sonoma, you talked about being in the position of kind of preaching a little bit of patience, or you didn't have to take chances in order to make the points up for the top 30. Is it really within Kyle Busch not to, when he sees the opportunity to go for the win? I mean, or was this just an opportunity that you saw that was clearly you were in position to take?
I knew this was definitely another opportunity for us to take a chance on winning a race, you know, and there when Logano was kind of getting away from me at the beginning of the run, I was getting disappointed, you know. I was like, man, I'm trying, I'm driving everything, I'm hitting all my marks, and I'm just not keeping up. And I was like, I'm just going to have to move, you know, and I was like, I'm going to give this a few more laps and see if I get anything, and if I'm not gaining, then I'm going to move. Like, no matter what, I'm just going to move around. I've got room behind me, you know. If I lose ground, then it is what it is. I'll finish second, you know, but I moved around and I found something and it really worked for me. So I just kept doing it, and I kind of thought the 22 would get up there a lot quicker than he did when he saw me coming, but he didn't, fortunately. And you know, I was still able to have some room there on the outside a couple times, and I'd have to go to the inside, and it was a good race. But no, I did not want to settle for second for sure. You know, that was not in my mind to do that. I just knew to continue to work and to continue to put my focus forward out the windshield on what was ahead of me, and that one car that I needed to get to win.
Let's go to Jeff Gluck.
Jeff Gluck from USA Today. I know there's been times in the past when you're running out there and something happens and you're like, you know, we're done. I'm wondering if you've ever thought that about your point situation. I mean, like, you know, at Daytona last week, at one point, it wasn't looking very good. Do you say to yourself, I mean, there goes the chase. I mean, obviously it's much better now, but was there any time where you were like, maybe it's not going to happen after all?
I haven't thought that yet, no. I haven't thought about the chase a whole lot. You know, I knew Daytona when I got in the wall that my first thoughts were, well, this isn't going to be easy, you know, and to just continue to fight hard and to salvage the best finish that we possibly could. And I think I even could have finished about 8th. You know, Kurt, I wanted to follow Kurt. He kind of maneuvered his way to the middle, and I wanted to maneuver my way to the middle right behind him, but I couldn't quite get there on that last restart, and where I would have been the 31 car, and he finished 8th, you know, so that's where I wanted to be. But it didn't quite work out. I finished 17th, so I didn't make up all the points that we needed to last week, but certainly finishes like this, runs like this, they sure do help. And thankfully we're going to a lot of races here now that are more, you know, driver-induced than our circumstances-induced. And so it's going to be on my hands and Adam Stevens and this whole race team's hands.
Let's go to Nate Ryan right behind Jeff there. Nate Ryan, then we'll go to Stan, and that may go to the gentleman back there in the back. Go to Mark. Take a bunch of them.
Nate Ryan, NBC Sports. Kyle, if you keep winning, I'm sure the top 30 equation is going to take care of itself. But I also think that with 2 wins now, even though you're outside the top 30, a lot of people, a lot of fans will probably be asking, isn't that deserved of its own to make the chase, to have 2 victories? What's your take on that? I mean, do you feel like you're kind of putting pressure, I guess, in a way on NASCAR here, or kind of like positioning yourself in an interesting way, even if you're not in the top 30, to make a case for being a championship chase contender?
Well, I think the more wins that we do achieve, that it's going to put them in a tougher spot. But, also I think now that if there were 16 different winners, obviously that will put us in. The 2 wins will put us up over a guy that has 1 win. So that's the biggest positive that I see of the 2 wins. Again, it's just a continuation now that we've got to continue to get to that top 30. And hopefully it's not just us racing for a car owners championship, but for driver championship too.
Let's go to Stan, and we'll go to the gentleman in the back.
Stan Creekmore with RPMtonight.com. Kyle, in the past you've said that you don't really pay attention to what the team is doing as far as the chassis of the car. You get in it and you go race. Were you more involved in preparation for today's race, or did you just take the same attitude? And then to follow up, you got a great trophy tonight.
Mm-hmm.
What's the one song you hope is on it?
So to this weekend, actually to this year, I've spent a lot of time with Adam Stevens, and we've really gone over notes, especially for the nighttime races. We have the opportunity to be able to go and discuss those things in depthly through the morning time before the garage opens. So after the Xfinity race last night, I learned some things there, felt some things there that I really wanted to describe and tell him, and he understood what I was talking about, and he knew what kind of things I was looking for in my Cup car, and he helped me a lot today. Him, the engineers, everybody, they did a really good job of giving me a better feel than what I had in practice. So I was thankful for all of that, and that'll obviously continue. There's no better thing than to talk and have good communication with the driver crew chief. So the other part of the question was about the jukebox. What song? I don't know. Obviously the jukebox thing is kind of like I would say early, probably through the 50s type thing. So maybe some cool 50s music being on there, that would be cool. Maybe some Beach Boys or something like that. Little Deuce Coupe would kind of be cool. Of course, my dad, he loves them Deuce Coupes. So besides that, though, I don't know. Maybe there's some new fresh stuff on there too that we can have some fun with.
Let's go to the back. Go ahead, sir.
Keenan Singleton from the ABC affiliate in Cincinnati. Just wanted to, I guess, pick your brain on how this win tonight compares to 5 years ago here in 2011.
Both are big in their own reasons, and I think all my wins are. Fans ask me, they go, "Well, what's your favorite win? What's your most memorable win?" or something like that. And to be honest with you, they all have their own memories for particular reasons, and they're all cool in their own right. 2011 here, being the inaugural winner, that's a special one in its own. You're the first guy to be able to conquer a racetrack that everybody's gone to, so you figured it out first. But then this one was a little more satisfying tonight, I think, too, just because of everything we've gone through this year with myself, my injuries, my family, Samantha, having Brexton here. He was in victory lane with us, my son. So, again, it's just it's a fun opportunity, and I'm blessed to be in the opportunity that I'm in with Joe Gibbs Racing and everybody that's surrounding me. And, things are looking good so far, so we'll just continue to keep fighting.
Final question, Mark.
Mark Arrow, PRN. Kyle, now that you've got the gap between you and 30th under 100 points, I guess it's 80, 81, somewhere in there. What was it?
87.
87, I'm sorry. To
Why
be
gotta be a
exact.
downer?
Because
He said 81.
oh, he said 88.
But I'm bad in math.
I thought he said
apparently.
88.
Your math is really good.
What did he say? 88, didn't he? So I'm helping you out there.
No, I went the other way. How important was it to get it, under 3 digits? Now you're down, you've taken big chunks at Sonoma, obviously another big chunk here. How important to really, break through that century mark and give yourself that kind of a shot with 8 to go?
I don't know. I'm not really thinking about it exactly. I mean, obviously it's on our mind, but I'm not thinking about the points gained when we win. You know, when we win, I know we did all we can do. That's awesome, and it is what it is. They lie wherever they lie. You know, it's more of the 17th place finish at Daytona, and you know that those other guys can have decent finishes at those places as well too. So, because it's just such an unknown. That you kind of look at the points and you're like, okay, how many did I gain? I think I only gained like 6 or 7 or something last week on the 30th place guy. But this week was a good week. So, you know, that's what matters most is for us to go out there and perform at our best at the level that we know how to do. And that's what I've said since I came back. You know, if we do everything right and do it how we know we can, there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to average a 14th place finish or whatever it's going to take to be in the chase, to make top 30. And now that we've gotten 2 wins, man, I never would have imagined we would have gotten 2 wins this fast, but I've got a great team and they've done a really good job. You know, NBC asked me earlier, they go, you know, well, when you won at Sonoma was like, of the racetracks that were coming up, I think there was 13 or 14. I was like, Sonoma was like 11. It was like way down at the bottom, you know, and Kentucky was probably one of the top 3, you know, so we've won at the top and the bottom of the list so far, so not too shabby. Hopefully we can keep going.
Kyle, congratulations on this win here tonight.
Thank you, guys.
And continue best of luck the rest of the year.
You missed that. Right on a crispy edge. Right out there, right on a crispy edge.